Welcome back to the channel, Crypto Trend Trader, with a quick update on Bitcoin. Before we get started, I'd like to remind you it's not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. These markets are extremely volatile, so please do your own research and trade responsibly. I know a lot of people want to know my opinion on this. Is it legitimate? Does it look good for continuation? Is it a fake out? Just want to break it down. Essentially we had that red resistance line here at the top that we've been bumping our heads on. A bunch of times, like literally exactly from the tips here, coming across, bumping our head, and then we basically, when we broke through that, we consolidated on top of that previous resistance channel. That was like the two tops of the channels we were looking at. Now here we are bumping our head, and then we broke through, consolidate, closed on top of it. So at this point in time, I don't see any reason why we wouldn't get continuation. I mean, next target, let's pull this off auto real quick. Next target is going to be that yellow. That's our weekly close, that 12,033. So for Bitcoin markets, actual Bitcoin, it's going to go till Sunday. So that's going to be the real question right there, because we already closed monthly above our resistance. That was the monthly resistance right there. So we closed above that. So now this is our weekly, and that's the last resistance that we need to close above before we're essentially like, let's switch over time frames real quick. This is our monthly. We already closed this monthly candle above the previous one. So we basically are confirming, higher. Go over to the weekly, and now look, this is the weekly right here. We're above that weekly point right now. So if we can hold this until Sunday night at 8 p.m., that's a higher close on the weekly as well. So that's literally every time frame. You can't even argue it because there's no other time frames. So if you're going by, did we close higher time frame or any time frame higher than this previous high over here in what was it, May, June? Yes, we did on all time frames on Sunday. If we're still above this point right here, if we're still above that 11.5 range. So do I see any reason we're not going to get continuation? No. And we broke through here, we consolidated, and now here on the weekly TJD TDMACD, we have green on the histogram. We're above the slope line. It's still red, but we're above it. So at some point in time, if we stay above this long enough, we're going to flip this back over blue, which is just what we were talking about before, about how long this lasts on a weekly time frame once it flips over. So if we get above that, look, you get above it, you stay above it long enough, it flips over blue. And then we get a massive continuation. That's a bull run. That's a bull market. That's testing, all-time highs. Same thing here. On the Bellina Assassina, this is on the weekly with the monthly in orange and white. So basically, the weekly is the blue. We came down. We found support on the purple. We came down, found support on the purple, and we're bouncing it now, continuing to the upside. And this zone right here, yes, it's the very top of the range, but that doesn't mean that we're about to just max out and dump. It means that if we bounce this range and get back up in here, that's when you see these massive runs on long time frames. And now that's exactly what happened here on the orange, came down here and it bounced off the white. That's our monthly time frame. So we had the sell, it crossed under, but it was able to cross right back over and got the buy. So now this is a monthly continuation long on both these parts of this oscillator. On the weekly and the monthly now are signaling long. And same thing with the TJD TDMACD. So we're going to see what happens over this next basically like 28 hours, and that's the last confirmation we have left. And then if you start looking at moving averages, you can't deny it. I mean, literally the final thing, this is where gold was a couple months ago when I was telling everybody, this is it, we're doing it. And then the last thing left to do is to take out the all-time high. Well, what did gold just do? Gold just took out the all-time high. What is Bitcoin supposed to be? Digital gold. So, I mean, if it's following in the footsteps of gold literally right now, and all the fundamentals of Bitcoin are, paying off, and this is it. This is what it was all about. Fundamentally, literally, this was created on the idea of something like this happening, a financial system breakdown alternative, like devaluing money, like, essentially like a second store of value. Even though initially it was created for like digital exchange, I think the idea of it was built in there. So maybe the white paper just wasn't completely accurate, or maybe the vision was actually like more than Satoshi ever even realized. But if you're saying this has evolved to something different, something greater, and it is like a digital gold, a store of value, and I'm not going to argue for or against that, I mean, this is it. fundamentally, we got the strongest possible situation. We're doing exactly what gold did, consolidated forever at the top of this range after a massive sell-off, okay, and then finally broke out to the upside. Took out the previous high, took out the all-time high, and now continuation. And that's exactly where gold is at right now. We're literally at that point. So, I mean, what's up? Let's go. I don't want to get you all pumped up and like, mad bullish at the wrong time, but we're running out of reasons not to be bullish in this market, okay? And that's what conservative, trend trading, investing, whatever you want to say is. It's conservative. Okay, you give up all the risk that you can. You get rid of all the risk you can, and you just get the profits when they're at the absolute best. And it's starting to look like right now there's nothing left to deny this. So people say, "Oh, we should have got bullish at 10,000. We should have got bullish at 8,000. Whatever, that's fine. You get bullish at different areas, and you take percentages of your capital and you invest them at different areas in the market. So when you get your moving average crosses on certain time frames, or when you get your flips on whatever indicator or oscillator or whatever fundamental it is that you're trading on, you should have different points. Like for me, I basically have 4 entry points for my trading system, and I use those 4 entry points to allocate capital for long-term trending trades, which is basically like bull markets. And right now, I was saying this about gold a while back, about gold entered a bull market, and we only had one confirmation left, and that was that taking out the all-time high, which we just did. So now I expect to consolidate, sell off, consolidate, whatever, and then boom, sky's the limit from there. Blue sky breakout. Bitcoin is now doing what gold was doing a few months ago, and is potentially going to shoot up now to like $16,000, $18,000, $20,000 all-time high retest. It doesn't have to be tomorrow. We're confirming stuff on a monthly time frame. We're confirming stuff on a weekly time frame. We're going to pull back. Price is going to go back down. This is not it. We're going to sell off. Okay, look where we are right now. Don't get bullish right now. We're about to dump, okay? Bitcoin's about to dump. Look, we got up here, massive dump. Got up here, consolidate, got up here, dump. Got up here, dump, 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 okay? Pumped all the way back up here, got back inside the channel, got to the top, broke out of the channel exactly like what we did right here. So what's about to happen? We're about to consolidate at the top of this range right here, and then we're going to dump, okay? But what I'm not talking about that right now. I'm talking about years. I'm talking about the next 1 to 3 years. This asset is going to explode if we confirm on the final level. And then, just from here, if you say right now you just bought in, which I would not recommend at all, because I just said we're about to dump. We're at $12,000 right now. Okay, if you buy in at $12,000 and we go back to $20,000, that's basically like, I don't know what it is off the top of my head, 80% or something like that. So, you're basically, it's essentially double your money back to all-time highs. So think about that for a minute. So if you can get in at 10,000, let's say an even round number, you're doubling your money back to all-time highs. So that's gold going back to 2,000. And then after that, the sky is the limit. So don't keep thinking it has to go lower. This is when you start dollar cost averaging it. You dollar cost average into uptrends, okay? People always want to dollar cost down. I'm dollar costing up, okay? My dollar cost average gets worse because I'm buying into strength, and I'm fine with that. I am absolutely fine with that. Because what that means is a forever increasing yield curve, because you're not continually buying trash, dollar costing down, hoping that eventually it bounces. You're buying into strength, and you're not losing. You get rid of like 90% of your losses and 90% of your drawdown, and you just buy into the strength, and you just keep moving up. And then you don't have to worry about wasted time or poor capital allocation. You're just putting it into stuff that's strong and going to continue being strong. And that's what's about to happen soon with Bitcoin. It's already happening with gold. Eventually it will happen with silver, theoretically, but same thing here, Bitcoin is confirming on its final couple time frames, and then that's it. It's blue sky breakout, baby. And then that's when you can start really looking into like these old altcoins that are still down like 75% or whatever, and say like, if this gets back to all-time highs, one day, then it could go up by, 10x or whatever. But that's when you start looking at that trash and start saying, okay, maybe now I'm going to allocate some capital to this. Because if you allocated capital to one of these trash coins like XRP or Litecoin or something like that and just held it for the last how many years, like, well, I mean, what did you do with it? Nothing. It was useless. You know what I mean? That's wasted capital. You waste time as money. You know what I mean? So that's my only point with this. You could have put that money into the actual stock market and crushed it, because the stock market is in a bull market, like confirmed uptrend. And that is my only point with this stuff. I have no problem buying Beanie Babies or whatever you want to buy. If you want to buy something cool, you want to collect baseball cards, whatever. But no, that's what you're doing. And one day, yeah, that Cal Ripken, junior rookie card might be worth, 10 times what you pay for it or 100 times what you pay for it. But realistically, with limited amount of capital and looking for like actual gains over time, not just buying like a lottery ticket and hoping one day like you hit, that's the difference between legitimate like trend trading or investing and buying lottery tickets or Beanie Babies or baseball cards or whatever it is. You know what I mean? And that's my only point. And I think sometimes I come off as overly bearish in the crypto space, but I'm not. This channel, I try not to talk about fundamentals because that's what gets people hyped up and gets them wrecked. And I don't want people to buy into stuff based on fundamentals and news and all this junk, because that's usually the worst time to buy. But if we go by technicals in this, I can technically tell you exactly why these things are going to go to all-time highs and why they're going to go up and this, that, and the other. And I can make a legitimate, mathematical argument based on what I show you in these charts. And that's why this is so important. And I want you to be able to learn this all on your own so that you literally can come to me and be like, hey, man, I saw this chart and what's up with this? And I can say, oh, man, I didn't even see that. We're about to, definitely enter a position in that. And then, we can high five digitally on the screen and, we get to enjoy making money and being successful together. That's what this channel is literally all about for me, because it's not that fun to just meet your buddies at the bar and talk about how great your investments are doing or whatever, or show them your portfolio or, tell them how good you did on a crypto or something like that. If they don't get in on it, they don't enjoy it the same way. And most of your friends probably don't have a passion for this. Matter of fact, you probably have to go look for random people on the internet like me just to even find somebody to talk about it that's interested in it that you can get your information about it from. So that's my only point with all this stuff, is that we basically are like brought together into all of this, and we get to enjoy these gains together over time. And it has been slow and boring and bearish, and we've had some ups and everything, but over the last couple of years, we've essentially been consolidating, and we are basically at the precipice right now where, yeah, we could sell off a few more $1,000 down, but based on fundamentals and technicals and everything right now and the way these things are looking, it's looking awfully good. Like in the next 1 or 2 years, like we are going to be on the next level with crypto. And honestly, I'm starting to get excited. I only have left like literally this confirmation coming up and then breaking out over all-time highs, and that's it. That's a bull market to me. And in a bull market, you allocate your capital in the market 100%. And then, or whatever, 75%, however you decide you want to do it, but you're long in the market. And then you can take profits at like various areas along the way. But essentially, like, the work is done. You're in the market. As we're in a bear market, you want to be out of the market most of the time. And then when the bear trend, the sell-off is exhausted, you scalp those like bounces back up. But essentially, like, you want to be out of the market most of the time when the price is going down. You want to be in the market most of the time when the price is going up. So as far as crypto is concerned right now, we're about to confirm an uptrend on every time frame and potentially test all-time highs and potentially have a blue sky breakout. But first, we just have to get wrecked, because this is just too easy. It's just too easy. So after we get this dump, this sell-off, man, I cannot even wait, honestly. Like, the crypto is going to explode, and you're going to be the guy that all your buddies and all your friends and all the people at your like digital office, because who knows what the world's going to be like in a year, but they're all going to be coming to you because you're going to be the one who knows about it. You were there first. You've been there. You learned about it. You put in the time. You've been learning about it. So think about the advantage you will have. And you know what? I don't want to get everybody all hyped up. I'm not trying to pump everybody up and get them excited. And you know what I mean? I'm really not looking for like that moon boy mentality. But, based on actual technicals and charts and everything, like I said, You confirm something on a monthly, and the first thing that happens is you get a pump as you confirm that, and all that, like, all the people waiting for a monthly confirmation say that's it, monthly confirmation, and they hit buy, and that pumps the price up. And then after that, it always sells off. It always sells back off, finds a point of normalcy, takes advantage of that easy money, and then after that, you will get, that'll get bought up. That sell-off will get bought back up, and you'll find support, and then you will get continuation to the upside. And that's what's going to happen. It happens at the end of the month, happens at the end of the week now, when we get this weekly confirmation. And you know what? I'm going to get out of here because I really didn't mean to go on like one of my like ramble-thons or whatever. But before I go, there is one thing I want to talk about, okay? I always hear people talk about two different things. GBDC and, all right, we'll do them one at a time. Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. Essentially, it's like a way that, you could be invested basically with like 401ks and stuff like that, like in the stock market, in Bitcoin, basically, like legally, regulation-wise. Okay, people always talk about this type of stuff, all right? All-time high was like $22, and this was our previous high right here on the monthly, was at $15.37, and we're at $12.81 now. And now let me go back to the weekly. Sorry, I hope I didn't confuse you there with that. Now here we are on the weekly. The weekly close is up here at $15.49. So technically on the weekly or the monthly, this has not confirmed higher. Okay? So people always want to talk about like traditional markets and how they're so important and all that stuff. So according to this, Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, we have not confirmed a weekly or monthly higher. Now let's go over to the CME futures, and we're going to do the same thing. Monthly on CME futures is up here at 12,555. Okay, we are at 11,610, and the monthly futures closed. So we closed a lower high on the monthly. All right. Everybody always wants to talk about CME futures and how it's important and how it leads the markets when it's convenient, but they don't want to talk about it right now, probably because they haven't noticed, because no one else has noticed this yet, because I haven't heard anybody else talk about it. So you're like probably one of 100 people if you're still listening to this video right now. And now look at the weekly. Where are we at on the weekly? 11,610. When did this close? Friday. Okay, so what did we do? We closed a lower high on the weekly. All right, so I don't hear anybody talking about that stuff because it's not convenient right now. But you heard it right here, and you will hear it. You're going to hear it around. But I just want you to remember that the most likely thing that's going to happen, in my opinion right now, based on previous situations like this, is the most likely thing that I think is going to happen is it's Saturday right now. I think we're going to pump up, get a nice pump. I think we're going to sell off into Sunday night. And then we're going to close back where we closed and fill the gap. Otherwise, there's going to be a massive gap on CMEs if we just pump to the moon right now and all of a sudden we open and it's going to have to gap up. No, it's going to come back down, fill that gap, and that's going to be your opportunity to buy the breakout if you think that this is it and we're just going to the moon. But if you noticed what I noticed about GBDC and CMEs, you might not be as bullish as everybody else is right now. And you might just want to wait for that one last confirmation before you get excited like we're going to all-time highs. Or else you might just end up like this guy. You might end up like that guy. You might end up like this guy. So we'll see. And again, long term, extremely, extremely bullish. But just be careful, because we're confirming on long time frames, and that means they're going to play out over years. Okay, so we're going to play out a long-term uptrend for years. That does not mean that we're not going to have a 50% correction right now. And I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it's not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. These markets are extremely volatile, so please do your own research and trade responsibly. Crypto Trend Trader, and I'm out.